Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this Locked On Texans Extra. As you guys know, it's Friday. We had an opportunity to chop it up with our guy, Mr. Brandon K. Scott from Sports Radio 16. And during our interview with Brandon, we got into a very interesting topic talking about whether or not the Houston Texans should draft Bijan Robinson and how much of a factor that he can be to an offense that has been pretty subpar over the last couple of seasons. So please stick around because B. Scott made some very interesting point about Mr. Robinson, which has me now considering whether or not the Texans should draft Mr. Robinson. Or by the way, this question just popped in my mind. Outside of quarterback, second most important position the Texans definitely need to address.
Man. In the draft specifically?
Yes, in the draft.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I think you need a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need a weapon. This has been one of my things, Cody. Like, all of this talk about getting an edge rusher, I'm down. I'm down with getting an edge rusher. Don't get me wrong. But I don't have the same level of urgency for an edge rusher as it seems like everybody else does. With Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson, like if you told me they went straight offense at the top of this draft, that they went C.J. Stroud at 12, Bijan Robinson, I'm sorry, back that up. C.J. Stroud at top. We were talking about Will Levis at 12. Now I'm thinking about 12. C.J. Stroud at 2, and Bijan Robinson at 12. That's going on. I'm here for that party. I'm gonna write the story so quick, and I'm joining.
I know you are. You are the biggest Bijan Robinson supporter, hopeful that I know.
Joining the draft party.
B. Scott, look,
man, I am doing
really
that.
quick, and I know we gotta go, and I know I already gave this the sign off and stuff, but really quick.
But just by the way, I wasn't saying that they need a running back.
Yeah, that's I wasn't saying like running back in particular.
They need a weapon. They need a weapon that is a difference maker. That is a matchup issue, a matchup problem. They don't have one of those. Dalton Schultz actually is the closest thing that they have to it, but they need a little bit more.
Even with everything that you just said, how you describe Bijan Robinson, and I do agree, but when I think about Dameon Pierce, when I think about Singletary, I just look at Robinson and I just be like, if they were to draft him that high at 12 or even at 33, if he fall at 33, I still feel like that is too high to take a chance on Robinson, only because that is like the one position to where I say, you know what, if the Texans do not draft a running back or a player that could play in the backfield, I would be okay with, given the fact that what I know what Dameon Pierce can be, and given the fact that you have your running back number 2 in Singletary. That's just me. I like Robinson. I think Robinson is going to be a phenomenal player, but I just don't see it.
Man, listen. I like Dameon Pierce. I like Devin Singletary. These guys is not even in the same stratosphere of universe as Bijan Robinson. Okay. You draft Bijan Robinson and you find a role for Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary. You go enough to roll, find a role. Come in here, grab it, get your uniform. And we're gonna run some plays for you.
The guy who was their best offensive weapon, which
the best offensive weapon on one of the worst offenses.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Like, I cannot wait to see how much of Dameon Pierce's game is going to translate into next season, because there was a lot of times last year he was the only person who could be able to move the chains last year.
He's gonna be fantastic. He's a good player.
I know
Dameon Pierce. He's gonna be really good. But Cody, this is different. Okay, it's not like think of it almost as like defensive line. Like if you had a good edge rusher, would you not want another one? Like the positions in which you can play more than one guy at once, and you can have more than one running back on the field at one time, and be creative with your formations and what you want to do. It's not like quarterback. Or like left tackle. where you're drafting a guy and there's only one dude that can play the position at one time. You can go out there with Bijan Robinson and Davian Pierce. You can go out there with Bijan Robinson and Devin Singletary. You can spell Bijan Robinson at various times. Oh my God! In this offense, with this, and if Bobby Slowick is the play caller that I think that they're hoping that he can be. If you don't have an imagination, here's the thing about it, Cody, and this is the thing that you got to understand about Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson is a matchup problem for almost anybody on the other side of the ball, because he's going to be faster than pretty much anybody in the front seven, and is bigger and stronger than anybody in the secondary. Now, they'll be quick enough to cover him, right? But he is a matchup issue. I'm not saying that he's never going to get tackled whenever he gets the ball or anything like that, but he's a matchup issue. Soft hands, some of the best hands. Talk to any of the evaluators; they'll tell you this. Some of the best hands in this draft class are on one running back named Bijan Robinson. Listen, man.
I never thought about it like that, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just saying this is different. It's not. He's not Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is a running back. Bijan Robinson is a weapon, a dude that you can put at running back, that you can put in the slot, that you can throw the ball to out of the backfield. And also my thing about Bijan is just also the value of the contract. I think the kid is going to be a superstar, but he is technically a running back, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, he's not just a running back, but he is technically a running back, dude. On like the first 4 or 5 years of his career, it's never going to get better than that, because eventually it's going to go downhill from there. The best value for a player like that is in the beginning, right now. Right now, if you talk to me 40 years from now, you're talking about, do you want to pay Bijan Robinson? I'll probably be like, because he'll have them miles on him. He'll be a running back. But at this point, and at a contract at pick number 12, where the value of the contract over the length of it is $19 million before you have to decide, just under $19 million before you have to decide whether you want to pay him real money over the length of that entire contract for the type of player that he could be. Like, to me, it's just incredible. We talk about value. That to me is incredible value. The wrong way to look at it is drafting a running back in the first round, or positional redundancy because you have Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is the type of running back that you should be worried about how long will you have him, because of the style of play that he has, because he's not the same type of threat in the passing game that Bijan Robinson is. That's just the fact of the matter. So, like, his style of play is what worries me more so about the longevity of it. And how long can I trust it, than more so Bijan Robinson, who you can do multiple things with. So I love Dameon Pierce. Let's go out there with Bijan Robinson and Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary and Dalton Schultz and get you a quarterback and go out there with a real damn offense for a change, man. I think that could change the game for him.
How much do you think? And no, I'm not caping for Davis Mills to get his starting spot. Let me just say that right off the top. However, I do think
I'm with you.
If there's any other quarterback not named CJ or Bryce at the Houston Texans draft next Thursday, even if it is AR-15, even if it is Will Levis, even if it is Hendon Hooker, because I think Hendon Hooker is probably going to be probably more so redshirt his rookie season because he's coming off that ACL tear. I do think if there's any other quarterback not named CJ or Bryce, that Davis Mills will at least start the beginning of the 2023 campaign. Brandon, really quick, if you go out and let's say they draft Bijan Robinson, and you have Robinson, you have Pierce, second round, let's say you get Zay Flowers, a wide receiver that I'm extremely high on. How much do you think that is going to help the potential development of Davis Mills or any other quarterback? Because I know Davis Mills had his flaws last season. However, I always did say, I'm a guy, I'm an analyst, I'm a reporter that look at everything. He did not really have weapons himself, basically outside of Dameon Pierce a lot of times.
Dude, I'm with this tremendously. I said this in the loop earlier on Thursday. Listen, I really want them to draft a quarterback and think that they should.
And I agree.
But more than anything, man, I just really believe and have some conviction in this value thing about Bijan Robinson. Am I going to be like, oh, you're crazy if you don't bet? No, there are a couple of things and a couple of good options that they could do at 12. whether it be picking like actually making that pick or trading it. You know, like there are a number of things that they can do that could be smart with number 12. I just like Bijan Robinson. But I do also think that if you don't draft a quarterback, like say you do go with Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson at number 2, and you were to go with Bijan Robinson at number 12, well, you fixed a lot of issues for Davis Mills, or not just Davis Mills, but whoever you decide to be your quarterback. Whether you want to go get Trey Lance, or whether you want it to be Davis Mills, or whether you trust Case Keenum more, whoever
Lamar Jackson,
or whether you have the guts. But here's the thing. Well, I don't know. Like if you got trepidation and you have the guts to draft a quarterback at number 2 overall, I seriously question whether you have the guts to trade for or like, you know what I mean, like do what it takes to get Lamar Jackson. You know, like I got serious doubts about that. And to be honest with you, like I think the Ravens should just go ahead and pay Lamar Jackson. I don't know if I was another team. If I was another team, though, I don't know if I would actually do it. I don't know if I would actually trade and pay the money. I'd be hesitant to do that just as a plan. The Ravens are out of their minds. But anyway, like I think that if Davis Mills is the quarterback, but you actually go out there and get him some high quality weapons that, like, I think that you can do in this draft, like say Bijan Robinson at number 12, and like you say, Zay Flowers or Quentin Johnson. I know a lot of people have soured on him, but he's like, if you can get him at 33, I think that that's pretty high value. If you can get some solid weapons for Davis Mills, I like that even better than giving up a pick for somebody that's in his same draft class that hasn't proven any more than Davis Mills has in his career so far. Like if you're going to do experiments, either draft a quarterback or experiment with the one that you already got. Like draft one high or experiment with the one that you already got, and surround them, either of them, with actual weapons to succeed. You already done some of the hard part, we think anyway, with giving them coaching that you actually believe in. We'll see how good it is. I think there's a lot of assumptions on our parts right now that, hey, it's going to be good. The coaching is better. We'll see. I kind of thought that last year. We'll see. I think so. But if that is true, and you surround whatever quarterback it is with weapons, even if that's Davis Mills, and I'm not in support of that, just to be clear. But if that's what they do, I think that he has a much better chance than he ever has.
Mr. Brandon K. Scott from Sports Radio 16. Brandon, really quick, where can our listeners follow you at on all your social media platforms? And please be sure to tell them about the B Block podcast, when they can find you on Sports Radio 16, and even the H-Town Hoop podcast.
Yeah, man. So at Brandon K. Scott on Twitter, at B Scott from Hiram Clark on Instagram, the B Block podcast, wherever you get your podcasts every week. Then it's the H-Town Hoops podcast, also weekly, with Adam Spolane. That's an Odyssey production. You can get that wherever you get your podcast. I'm actually about to record with him as soon as I get off with you now. And of course, In the Loop. Check out In the Loop every Thursday. Check it out every day, of course, but check it out every Thursday specifically to catch me at 11 a.m.